Anya nas na Biafra achọghị emegbu onye ọbụla. Onye mụkwa na Biafra. Na ọ ga-adịrị n'ụlọ na mma.
Ise.
Ọ ga-adịrị Biafra na mma.
Ise.
Ihe anyị chọrọ bịa ala bekee anyị ga-achọtarịrị ya.
Ise.
Otu anyị bịa ka Biafra nwere onwe Chineke nna nke pụrụ ihe onye ọ bụ ya nwa na onwe ya kere anyanwụ ka anyị na-elewe anya n'ụbọchị nke taa. N'ime mmụọ na eziokwu si ozi nwere onwe Biafra. A sị na Biafra ga-abịa anyị na mbọ.
Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you are joining me from Africa, from Asia, from Europe, from America, or from Australia, I appreciate you so much for your contributions on my channel. Each time you watch my video, please kindly go to the comment section and leave your comment. Say it the way you feel it. Put down your comment. Make your contributions according to what you have just watched. I learn a lot from the comment section. It's very important to me because it's a very place where we have discussions and learn from each other. We can disagree to agree. It is all well. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, I bring you information and details on the things that are going around in the southern part of Nigeria, more especially in the contraption called Nigeria. The southern part of Nigeria, as you know, is in occupation. Is in occupation. The Oduduas and the Biafrans, Biafran land is being occupied by the Nigerian government. The Fulani Janjaweed, who are heading their Nigerian government, their so-called fake one Nigerian government, is occupying the land of Biafra and the land of Odudua, and they do not want us to air our opinion, neither do they want us to say our mind. Each time they come out on the media, they begin to propagate their lies about the unity of Nigeria. Nigeria has never been united at any point in time. Nigeria has never been united and has never been one. It doesn't matter how they try to paint the lie, it doesn't matter how they try to push a lie. You will see it written everywhere that Nigeria is not united. When you see people coming to the media to talk, even on the national media, when you see somebody from the southern part of Nigeria talking and somebody from the northern part of Nigeria talking, you will see the difference very, very clear. We are not the same people and we can never be the same people. We can never be the same people. In the southern part of Nigeria, we like a secular system where people will practice whatever they want to practice, regardless their religion. You can practice whatever religion you want to practice in the southern part of Nigeria. You can do whatever you like at your own pace, at your own speed. But in the northern part of Nigeria, it is not so. What the northern Nigeria are asking for is Sharia, a caliphate. That is what they want. And they have even started practicing that very caliphate, even while they claim that we are in a one Nigeria. How can you be claiming that we have a one Nigeria when some section are practicing a different law and another section is practicing a different law? We asked for regional governance, they said no. They do not want us to govern ourselves in regions, but yet they are practicing Sharia in their own region. They are practicing Sharia in their own region, using that Sharia against those of us who believe in the secular states. And you want us to be part of this very madness. How can you call this country a one? It is not one country. It doesn't matter how you talk about it. It doesn't matter how you look at it. It can never work. I am not against Islam. I'm not against their caliphate. I'm not against whatever they are practicing. But what we are saying is that they should keep that their practice with themselves in their own area and allow us to go our separate ways and practice our secular system. That is what Odudua and Biafra is asking for. The Oduduans are very secular. They practice the secular system. You can be able to practice your religion, whatever faith you have, you can practice it effectively in Odudua land, and nobody will trouble you. Nobody will disturb you. There are so many Muslims who are from Odudua land. They have no problem with what they are practicing. They have no problem with the Christians. They have no problem with other religions. It's something in the southeastern part of Nigeria, in as much as the Muslims are very few, nobody is fighting them, nobody is pushing them around. Nobody is pushing them and nobody is forcing them that you must be a Christian. It doesn't happen anywhere in the southern part of Nigeria. But in the northern part of Nigeria, they have a different mentality. They have a different mentality. That is why when you see people coming to push the line of unity in diversity, the greatest problem that Nigeria has is that diversity. There is no unity in the diversity you see in Nigeria. There is no unity in the diversity you see in that contraption called Nigeria. The only place you can have such kind of unity and diversity is in the southern part of it. When you talk about the South alone, the whole of the South believe in secular system. It doesn't matter their religion, it doesn't matter their tribe, it doesn't matter their ethnicity, it doesn't matter where they belong. Be you from Edo, be you from Igbo, be you from Yoruba, be you from Ijo, be you from Efik, no matter your tribe in the southern part of Nigeria, they all believe in secular system. And in most of the families, you will find Muslims, Christians, Hindus, unbelievers, any kind of people, and they are living peacefully. They are living peaceful without anybody denying them any rights. But in this northern part of Nigeria, this is not so. They want the caliphate and the caliphate alone. And the funniest thing is that the people, even the ordinary citizens in that very place, they will be very comfortable with it. Every northern Muslim is very, very comfortable with an Islamic state. That is why they are not bothered. Even when the terrorist group are using Islam to come against them, to abduct them, to kill them, they are not bothered just because those terrorists claim to be Muslims. They are not bothered. They don't care. But if it would be a key state that is used to attack, no, they will come after you with every force that they have. But that is not the same in the southern part of Nigeria. That is why we say these two cannot function together. They are not the same. And for some people who are pushing some propaganda of some foreign forces trying to equip them, or foreign forces, even, I don't blame any foreign forces in anything that is happening in Nigeria. The Fulanis, this is a foundation that Osman Danfodio have laid down for his Fulani brothers. That when they came into Nigeria, this was how they conquered the Hausa. Their intention is to conquer Nigeria and make it their home, and they have been doing everything possible to achieve it. Whatever support they are getting internationally is because that is what they desire to do. That is what they desire to do. That is why people who have the same like manner, who likes the same kind of destruction, are supporting them and equipping them, financing them. So, if I want to blame, I blame the Fulani force. They were the people who engineered it. They volunteered themselves, they make themselves available for the destruction of Nigeria because of their selfish interest, because of a terrorist who led them into Nigeria and gave them a message to dip their Quran into the Mediterranean Sea. And you see them dreaming about it. You see them talking about born to rule. You are born to rule who? They boast about it, born to rule. You see them come and be claiming that they are the only one who has the right to rule. No other person has the right to speak. Formerly it was just a claim, but now you see the government of Muhammadu Buhari placing only the Fulanis in every key position. Placing the key Fulanis in every key position in Nigeria. You can never see any other tribe except the Fulanis. Even the Hausas, you don't see them. Only in few places. This country is not one. The unity of the southern part of Nigeria is inevitable. The Yorubas and the Oduduas, the Yorubas and the Biafrans, they have come together, and that is the fear of the north. And that is the beginning of the victory. The only beginning of the victory, the success, the overwhelming success that we have got is the unity of the Odudua and Biafra. Thank God to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Thank God to the message of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the awakening message of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that have touched every nook and corner of the southern part of Nigeria, and everybody is at work, including the middle belt. The middle belt are no longer having it with the north. They are coming out openly to speak out and say that they are not part of the north. You know, initially, the north used to carry them along, brainwash them, carry them along, and they answered not. Take their vote. They always vote along with the north. That is what the middle belt have been doing all this while. Betraying every other person, joining the north. Each time the north are counted, they say they count the middle belt among them. But for now, it is no longer so. All thanks to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the opening of the eyes of everybody. You see the kind of the way they are killing people in the middle belt, taking their life indiscriminately. After they gave them a wrong message, telling them that it is the Southerners who are against them. They preach to them that the Southerners are people who want to dominate them. But today, what are you seeing? Everything is in the open. If you remember the message of Ahmad Bello when he was being interviewed by BBC long ago, Ahmad Bello talked about domination. What did he say about the Igbo person? His anger about the Igbo person is that the Igbos want to dominate everybody. That when you put them in a cage, they will come out and emerge as the strongest person in that very environment. This was the message Ahmad Bello was pushing. He pushed that message, and everybody in that contraption called Nigeria bought that message that Igbos want to dominate everybody. Today, who is planning to dominate? Who is dominating everybody? Who is planning to dominate? Who is chasing the land in your own village? Who is trying to take away your land from you? Is it not the Fulanis? Is it not the Fulanis? And what are you now waiting for? You from the south, you from the middle belt. You are not yet awakened. You don't know the people who are telling the lies. The Fulanis have been lying from the time onset. The same lie they told the Hausas that made the Hausas to kill their leaders. The same lie they told the Hausas. They told the Hausa peasants, and Hausa came down, helped them to overtake their people. And today they have taken over. They came with the same lie. If not for the grace of God upon the Igbos, if not for the grace of God upon the Igbos, they would have wiped away the Igbos during the Civil War. But Chukwu Okike Abiama is awake. Chukwu Okike Abiama is very much awake through the support of Chukwu Okike Abiama. Odumegwu Ojukwu was very, very strong general, our people's general. Odumegwu Ojukwu, he was able to protect the southeastern part of Nigeria and make sure that we survive. Ojukwu did a marvelous work. For those of you who didn't know what Ojukwu did for us, these people's intention was not only just to kill 5 million people. Their intention was to wipe away the whole of the southeastern part of Nigeria and take over. That is why when I see some people who are talking down on Ojukwu, I just marvel. People from the southern part of Nigeria, planet they are living in, Ojukwu who asked for that restructuring to make you free. People refused and they wanted to kill him. Some will come and say that Ojukwu have to give apology to some part of southeastern part of Nigeria. What apology? What nonsense? Somebody who gave his life, just like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is doing now. He gave his life, gave his wealth, gave his money, gave his time, everything to secure you. You are asking him to render apology to you. If there is anybody that desires apology, it is Chim, it is Odumegwu Ojukwu. It is Dim Odumegwu Ojukwu that demands, General Odumegwu Ojukwu that demands, that needs apology from every single one of us who is in southeastern part of Nigeria. Not the other way around. And Nigeria owes Biafra an apology, unreservable apology. And until they do that, they will continue to suffer. Nigeria will continue to suffer until they apologize to Biafra for what they have done, the evil they have done. That is why the breakup is here. I really appreciate my brothers, the Odudua brothers, our Odudua brothers who are fighting very strong in the forefront. More especially Sunday Igboho. We have to continue to pray for Sunday Igboho. Sunday Igboho is facing a great challenge. He's facing a great attack and challenge. You wouldn't mind what he's facing. If you can look at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and see what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going through, that is the same fate you have to look at Sunday Igboho. A lot of challenges ahead of him. And we have to continue to pray for Sunday Igboho for him to continue to be consistent and continue to fight the battle to the end. And for every Oduduwa out there, everybody who is a Yoruba out there, everybody supporting Oduduwa out there, continue to air your opinion and say your voice. Speak up. Don't be silent. Continue to speak up. Continue to speak up. Speak louder than ever. Don't allow them to carve you down. We are marching to victory and nothing will stop us. Nothing will stop us. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they do. Just like you see in the Biafran. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. Biafrans are moving ahead. We are far, far ahead of them. When I remember the foundation that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have laid down for us, I become so happy. And I thank God for everything that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has done. God has used him mightily well, and he never deviated one day. And he will never. We will never disappoint him, just as he has never disappointed us. For those who are still busy talking trash, keep on talking trash. All I know is that very soon, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to emerge with the Biafran flag, and you all will be surprised. We will celebrate Biafra very soon. We will celebrate Biafra very soon. It doesn't matter what people say. There are a lot of informations out there that you have to get. But be very careful to what you listen to. Be very careful to what you listen to. I want to share with you a video of an interview that was granted to one of our Odudua brother, Fani Kayode. You all know Fani Kayode. Most of the time, he speaks it right and say it right the way it is. I would like to share one of his videos, an interview that was granted to him recently. Listen to the interview and hear what Fani Kayode had to say.
And beliefs of the people that they speak for. There's no question about that. You know, the majority of the Yoruba people love Sunday Igboho. That the majority of the Yoruba people, both the intelligentsia, the elites, and the followership, okay, share Igboho's views and they revere him. And what are those views? Protecting the lives and property of Yoruba people, and a situation where they believe, he believes, and those that support him believe that there should be self-determination. Why? Because Nigeria is no longer protecting the people of the Southwest. Nnamdi Kanu in the East, I believe strongly, and I've been coming to the East for many years, as you know, and I'm a friend of the East. I love the East. There's no Eastern governor that I do not know well, whether it's Umahi or Biano, all of them, we're friends. I have great admiration for people of these. But I'll tell you this, that the aspirations of Nnamdi Kanu, in my view, is shared by the overwhelming majority of young people in the East. So these are people that you cannot ignore. Now, they're my personal friends, by the way, as well, and I never deny my friends in good or bad, just like I have many Northern friends. But I'll tell you this much, though. Where I think we need to be careful is where we say, okay, fine, that we have these aspirations, and then we begin to try to implement them by the force of arms. There's nothing wrong, in my view, with Nnamdi Kanu and Sunday Igboho speaking about self-determination. That is their constitutional right, and people are entitled to have that view. What I think there's a problem, though, is where people begin to pick up arms and guns and target policemen, target security personnel. So it doesn't help your case. It doesn't help the cause. Now, Igboho hasn't done that at all, in fairness to him, in my view. Kanu stands accused of doing that. I haven't seen any evidence of that, and I don't want to believe he would ever do such a thing, and neither do I believe the IPOB would. But it's very important that whatever we feel, however passionate we are, and there are few people that are as passionate as I am when it comes to the issues of inequality in this country and the way in which many Southerners and many Middle Belters have been treated in the past. I have spoken out more than anybody else over the years. People are talking now. I've been saying these things for the last 5 years. But so you will grant me the right to say, listen, thus far and no further. Let's not push it too far. Defend ourselves, insist on our rights, insist on an equitable Nigeria, grant those that want self-determination the right to speak it out if they want, and try and convince them to stay if that's what you want. But what we mustn't do is, out of passion and anger, push ourselves into a civil war situation. We must also reach out to those on the other side, if you like, who many from the South and Middle Belt perceive to be the enemy. Reach out to them and make it clear to them that, look, whatever excesses took place in the past, this is a new dawn, that nobody will accept any nonsense or any kind of subjugation or any kind of attempt to humiliate us or cheat us. Nobody's going to accept that anymore in Nigeria. And those of us that are moderates, that have been saying, let us build these bridges, if you don't stop your excesses, those behind us will push us aside and say, well, you've tried your best, and then it'll become something completely different, which is what we don't want.
What do you think about the arrest, or would I say the adoption of Nnamdi Kanu recently? He's a good friend. What's your opinion?
Let me tell you this. I know how government works, and I left government in 2008, but I know how government works. I was born into the corridors of power, and one of the things that I believe one has to recognize is the fact that when you have channels of communication open to elements within the government, and you believe those elements may be able to effect your purpose or reflect your opinion within the circles of power in order to achieve whatever you want them to achieve, then you have to be very careful what you say publicly. The minute you start speaking publicly and say this, they will not listen to you anymore, and you will not be able to achieve your objective, which is why I'm being extremely careful. First of all, I condemn the fact that he was tortured in Kenya. That is unacceptable to me. He was tortured for 8 days and so on and so forth. The circumstances under which he was brought back to Nigeria are questionable. But I would rather, and I've said a little bit about that. I've said a little bit about my friend Sunday Igboho as well, what happened in his home, when it happened. But outside of that, I don't want to say anything, because everything I'm saying, believe me, I'm saying it privately to those within this government, the corridors of power, that I'm very close to, and I'm making those representations strongly, and I'm saying that, look, we need to have peace, and if you want to have peace, let's remember that you've got to talk to even those that you consider to be enemies.
Okay. The lawmakers somehow, do you think they are shy of electronic voting? Looking at what's been happening in this recent time.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the point is that each will speak for himself. But in my view, it's something that I don't see why people would want to get rid of that unless there's more to it. So Let me just leave it at that. I find it curious that why...
What do you see, what do you think, what do you see happening there? Was it intentionally tampered with, the electoral bill?
I really wouldn't want to say because I don't know. The answer to the question is I really don't know. But what I do know is that it is important for us to do the right thing. And because this next election could make or break Nigeria, and we've got to be very, very careful with what we do.
Okay, and I appreciate that. The next one would be, what's your definition of restructuring? You seem to be in favor of restructuring.
I've always believed in restructuring. It's to devolve power to the various zones. This is my own view, not to the states. I believe power should be devolved to the various zones, so each zone can develop at its own pace, rely on its own mineral resources, probably 90% derivation. In other words, whatever you have in your zone should be shared between your people. These are just my views. A certain element of the ability to make decisions concerning local matters in your zone, and less power for the federal government in those various zones. That's what I believe in, and it's called devolution and devolution of power. And I believe we need a true federation. I believe we need state zonal police forces. I believe that we need possibility of zonal military commands in view of what's going on, and so on and so forth. And if you look at the First Republic, you actually find that this is what we had in the First Republic. And in fact, the Southwest, the Western region as it was then, my dad was deputy premier of the Western region, had its own embassy in the United Kingdom, you know, had our own flag, had our own anthem, and so on and so forth. And yet we were still within Nigeria, you know, a wider Nigeria. And I believe that we need to consider the possibility of going back to that. But the challenge that we have today, though, is greater than that, because the call for restructuring appears to be only voiced by people in my generation and older. The challenge we have is that the call for self-determination is now vogue, whether anybody likes to accept it or not. And this is something that we need to understand. And what we need, amongst the younger generation, what we need to do is find a way of meeting them halfway by saying, listen, we don't have to go our separate ways if you devolve power. But many of them want to go their separate ways, and we need to give them a reason to want to stay in Nigeria. And that means you must have an equitable Nigeria where everybody is treated equally and fairly, and the wrongs of the past are put right. Let me give you an example. 3 million people killed during our civil war. Civilians. 100,000 people killed in the first pogrom before the Civil War from the east, in the north. Issues like abandoned property, issues like the way in which the Igbos were humiliated and marginalized over the years. The Nigerian, I'm a Nigerian, has never apologized for this. I believe that that's where it all starts, the healing process, for the psyche of the Igbo man. If I were an Igbo man, I know how I'd feel. You must always put yourself on the other side. Know how I'd feel. I'd feel terrible. And I'll feel so much resentment in me. Okay? So that's that. That needs to be done. That's the start. There you now go to the Southwest and assure the people that what happened to the Igbos will never happen to us. That is to say, we will not be treated in this way. Neither will anybody else in the South, and neither will anybody in the North. We must all come to terms with our history, accept it, apologize to one another, love one another again, and try to reach out to the younger ones who are saying no more Nigeria, to make them understand that perhaps we can still salvage Nigeria. And if we can't salvage Nigeria, well, then so be it. But let it be peaceful.
There seems to be a very sharp divide in this opinion of whether restructuring or secession. The North does not want to hear any of those. Do you think that the South have not been able to really convince or lobby them to see the advantages or otherwise?
Well, first of all, it's not everybody in the South that wants secession. It's a younger generation that wants secession. And when you say secession, I don't like the word. Self-determination is the word to use. But there's a big difference between the two. Okay? Secession is akin to rape. Self-determination is exercising your right to just go to where you want. It's an exercise, the right of freedom. Now, I would say that the younger generation, but not everybody in the South wants to exercise that right of self-determination. There are many Southerners that still believe in united Nigeria, but there are also millions, particularly in the Southwest and the Southeast, that do not believe in that and want to go their separate ways. And now in the North, you said that they don't want that. That, again, I must dispute that. There are elements in the North who have said clearly and categorically that if others want to go, then they too, they're ready to go on their own. And I'm talking about the core North. They're also saying the same thing. Some of them, not all. But the mainstream, just like the mainstream political leaders in the South, the mainstream political leaders in the North are all saying no. We don't want secession. We don't want self-determination. We want a united Nigeria. Some are saying there should be a restructured Nigeria, and therefore Nigeria can remain united. And then others are saying nothing should change, and we should just continue the way that we're going. So this is the sort of catalogue of opinions. In my view, you cannot tell people that they don't have the right to talk about self-determination. I say it again, I keep saying it. If you don't want it, then you have to reach out to these people to give them reasons to want to stay. And that's what I think is important now. But if, for example, the people of the Southwest, the majority of them, after a referendum, say they want to leave Nigeria, nobody can stop them. The same with the Southeast, the same with Arewa, the same with the Middle Belt, because that is what freedom and self-determination is all about. And we won't be the first country to break up. There are many, many other countries that have broken up, some in war, some in peace. We hope that if it ever comes to that, it will not be in war. But my belief and my prayer and my hope is that we can still work out these differences as comrades and brothers and sisters and compatriots, and try to see how we can make the people of the Southwest, retrace their thinking and say, okay, maybe we should give it another opportunity. Same with the people of the East and the same with the people of the North. That, I think, we should do. If we do that, we attempt that, and if it doesn't work, then we know that, well, truly, we were never meant to be together. But it might work. Some
people accuse the Jonathan administration, which you were part of.
I was not.
Okay.
I was never in Jonathan's government. I was the spokesman of his presidential campaign. Campaign organization in 2015 during the election, but I was not part of his government. Though I think his government was an excellent government, so I'm prepared to stand up for them anytime.
But you share some sympathy with that government.
Well, I spoke for the candidacy of Jonathan. So, like I said, I'm very proud of his efforts as somebody that was in the same party as him, and I spoke for him. And I think his government did an excellent job. But I wasn't in that government. I was in Obasanjo's government, which was equally good. If not better. If not better.
People can attest to that now. Anyway. So some people accuse the Jonathan government of not being able to take the opportunity he had to initiate this restructuring thing, especially after the confab which he organized. That if he wanted to do it, he had the opportunity to do it. So why are we making so much noise now about restructuring now that the North has taken over?
It's not a legitimate criticism. It's an unfair criticism. It's baseless, and it's irrational. Why? He set up a constitutional conference. Everybody came together from all over the country. They agreed on a number of things. He would have implemented it had he been given a second term. The thing had barely been done. He now wanted to put it through the process of implementation, which would have really solved a lot of problems in this country, because it was a document based on consensus, but he was voted out. And this is one of the reasons why we fought so hard for him in 2015. We wanted issues like that to be addressed and processes like that to be implemented and agreements like that to be implemented. But unfortunately, he was voted out, and President Buhari came in. And when President Buhari came in, of course, he wasn't interested in that. So I don't think you can blame Jonathan for that at all. In fact, you should commend Jonathan for having the courage, the vision to provide a reasonable solution to a very, very difficult, complicated, and almost, impossible problem to solve. But he came up with a pretty good solution.
There is some rumor in some quarters that they see you romancing with some APC chieftains and all that, and they're asking, maybe does FFK want to move over to APC now, and
politics,
like every other person?
Politics is not war.
Yeah.
Politics is politics. I have friends on both sides of the divide. I've always done that. I've always had that. And any sensible politician will have friends, or any sensible human being will always have friends on both sides. I relate with people that I have respect for I may not agree with each individual and everything, but I have respect for courage of their convictions and are sincere in their approach. And I have absolutely no apology for having friends in both PDP and APC. I have enemies in both as well, I might add. But I have friends in both, and I'm proud of each and every one of these people that you call my friends in both parties. I have access to them, we speak, we work together, we counsel one another, and we make inputs in terms of developments for the future of our country. And that's, for me, is the barometer. I don't think that I'm the only politician in this country, including Jonathan, including Wike, and so many others, that speak to and have friends on the other side. I've seen each of them and many others talking to people on the other side and having good friends on the other side, and vice versa. That's how it should be. Because you're in a different political party, it does not mean you should be enemies. And I'll also add this. There's a very high level of fluidity, let me use that word, right now in the politics of Nigeria. A lot of people are shifting, and I am not one of those that condemns anybody for following the courage of his convictions, because you don't know what it is that they may have provoked Ayade, for example, to go to APC, Umahi to go to APC, Matawale, one of my closest friends in Zamfara, to go to APC, Senator Grace Bent, who is declaring, I believe, tomorrow to go to APC. You don't know what drove them there. You don't know why they went there. You don't know what their circumstance situation. So, each of us reserves the right to make that choice for himself and for the good of our country. I will say that both parties have strengths and both parties have weaknesses. And I think one of the things that we've done, we haven't done too well, is to look within ourselves to know where we've gone wrong. PDP has made many, many mistakes. Thank God you still have people like Bala Mohammed rising up there, who is doing exceptionally well. And because of him, many people are still in the party. Had it not been for that, I can assure you more people would have left. But, you also have people in the APC that are doing so well, like Yaya Bello, like Natawale and others. And of course, the Yobe governor, Maibuni, who is an exceptional man. And without him as being chairman of APC, I doubt you would have had all these defections. He's a master politician, and he's a good man. Now, what do you want me to say? Because he's in APC, I shouldn't commend him. I criticize and condemn anybody that I believe has done wrong, and I will do so without fear or favor. That's me. You get it? So the point is that it's fluid. There are good guys on both sides. There are bad guys on both sides, and you have to identify the individual you're prepared to work with and that you have respect for. It's not about demons being in one and angels being in another. That's not Nigerian politics. That's not politics anywhere.
Yeah. So your relationship with him doesn't mean that you're moving over.
No. I have said there's a lot of fluidity, and I'm saying to you that a lot will be determined by what happens in the next few weeks and days. So moving over or not moving over is not the issue for me now. Right now, it's a question of what is going to happen. We react to things.
Okay.
Now, we react to things. So anything can happen. Let me put it like that.
Okay. So what do you think about governors cross-carpeting to a different political party with the mandate of a different party? Because it's clear that in the Constitution, what people vote for is the party. And then the governor is an individual, and he gets this he gets this mandate from one certain party and moves over.
I believe that...
Is it not causing a lot of problems?
This did not just start now. This started in 2015 when a handful of governors, including Bukola Saraki, Tambuwal, and a number of others, decided to leave the PDP, scuttle the PDP, sink the PDP ship by moving across to APC. You remember? No. I'm coming to it. I'm coming to it because you said it's in the context of what is happening now. So I'm telling you that those complaining about it now were the ones that actually started this process in 2015. Now, they did it to the PDP at that time for reasons best known to themselves. And we fought them. They joined the APC at that time. Now, look at what's happening now. There are people within the PDP who, those guys came back, left the APC and came back and were given pride of place. Atiku, all of them. Bukola Saraki, Atiku, given pride of place in the PDP that they scuttled in 2015. They now came back, given pride of place. Okay? And now you have people that have been PDP stalwarts all along are saying, for whatever reason, different reasons, that they want to go to the APC, and they're going to the APC, and then you that did it before is criticizing him for going. Look, it's each to his own. I will never criticize somebody, particularly governors, who make a decision based on their own personal circumstances. And I know most of these people. I know Ayade very well. I know Umahi well, and I know Matawale well, and I know most of the others very well. And I've had an interaction with them, and I know why they did what they did. I'll be the last to criticize them for doing what. They have the right to make that decision and that choice. Now, you spoke about the constitutionality of the action. That is a matter for the law courts to determine. The morality of the action, I've told you. Nobody can accuse them of being immoral because PDP started this, the elements in the PDP that started this process in 2015. You get my point. So let's not look at the morality of it. Everybody's doing it. Those PDP that's suffering for it now, it was PDP governors that started this thing in 2015 and went to APC. So nobody is clean when it comes to that. But on the issue of constitutionality, that is a matter for the courts to determine. I personally think that that a governor has been elected in, and he reserves the right to. Okay, let me give you an example. If, for example, tomorrow, say you're in Party Y, you're elected on that platform, and suddenly Party Y endorses the position of endorses the policy of, you know, we can kill people because they're wearing blue shirts on a Tuesday. And you as governor of Party Y says, listen, this is barbaric, unbelievable, and unacceptable. I can't live with that. I can't be in a party that does that. Would you stay in the party or would you leave the party?
No, I'm going to answer it by saying that if I want to move to another party, I will finish my tenure as that governor of that party.
And stay
just like someone else did, just like P2B, for instance, did. And then he moved over, and nobody will have any problem with that.
And stay with people that are murdering people every day. I'm not saying they're doing that. I'm talking.
I'm
giving you. From my example.
Yes.
And stay with people. You might have that sort of disposition to stay with people that murder people every day in the name of I belong to this party, but not everybody has it. I certainly wouldn't have it. I would not be prepared to stay in a party in which I'm treated like filth.
But you should finish your tenure and drop the mandate and move over.
That is your opinion. That is a matter of law. It's not a matter of. It's a matter of law, and it's a matter of morality. You have that view. It's a subjective view, right? Is it right or wrong? Fine. You believe it's wrong. Others believe. Listen, I have to go now. Okay, that's their right. That's their belief. Whether it's constitutional or not, the courts can determine it. You can't tell me. I can't tell you. The courts will determine that. But most important of all is this. There are major issues within the PDP that have made most of these people take the decisions that they've taken. They did not take them lightly. And I think that the PDP ought to really look within and work hard to ensure that people stop leaving simply by changing their style. I mean, I didn't want to be drawn into this.
Are you not sure? Are you not sure is the attraction for power the central?
You see, this is the problem with Nigerians. Why would you? Which attraction for power? What is it? What? No. See, what is it? Look, listen. Okay, was it attraction for power that made Saraki leave PDP in 2015? Was it attraction for power that made Tambua leave? Was it attraction for power? I would say no. They had their own concerns. And I don't blame them for that. And they now fought the same PDP and scuttled the whole PDP ship and stopped Jonathan. Was it an attraction for power then? I do not, unlike most Nigerians, I don't judge people based on hearsay or based on what I read on social media or on other people's opinions. I criticize effectively and powerfully once I'm appraised of all the facts. I don't spare anybody, whether it is the president or whether it is anybody in government or outside government, once I'm appraised. But one thing I always do is do my research well. And I'm telling you, you need to sit down and talk to some of these people and ask them why. I don't think Ayade is after any power. I don't think Umahi is after any power. I don't think, certainly Matawale is not after any power. Circumstances are different for them than they are to others. Ugwai is my very good friend. He's in the PDP. He's quite comfortable in the PDP. He has few issues in the PDP, and he's doing an excellent job. He's my friend. So I don't see why he would want to leave. If he told me tomorrow he's leaving because, I'd say, fine, that is your right. I respect your judgment. I respect your views. But people need to know why people do things. And don't always assume the worst about people. Don't always assume that. And a lot of people judge other people by their own standards. Are you getting me? This is the basic truth. And I'll tell you this much, okay? I know there are some people that I'm close to, some of the governors that are PDP that love the PDP and will never leave. That's their right. And they have every reason to feel hurt when others leave, okay? And there are others that love APC and will never leave. That's their view. But please, we must not judge people unless we have all the facts and the reasons why they do what they do.
I appreciate that. The very last question, sir. The PDP doesn't seem to be playing a very strong role as an opposition. So that's been in the public domain.
I think
that's been in the public domain. I don't know what you think about that.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. And this attitude that nobody matters, you know, if you're not this, you don't matter. If you're not, I think that has not served the party very well. I don't like criticizing the PDP. If you notice, I try not to, because even if I'm not going to be in PDP tomorrow, I am in PDP. I've made a point that I will not be the one to be shooting bullets at them. But there is a lot that still needs to be done within this party. I mean, a situation whereby a survey was done, this poll was conducted by Vanguard newspaper, I think about 6 months to a year ago. And they said, who have been the most consistent voices against the federal government and President Buhari over the last 5 years? And they now listed Guinea. I came number 1. Next came, I believe, Reno Mokri, who doesn't even live in Nigeria. Next came, I believe, Wike or Fayoshi. And then it was either Wike or Fayoshi, 3rd or 4th, or vice versa. And then number 5 on the list came the People's Democratic Party. It's extraordinary. A political party is meant to keep a government on its toes. PDP has not been able to do that. Now, in my view, there's something wrong with that. And this is probably one of the reasons why people are saying, well, look, something has gone wrong. There doesn't seem to be any change. And we need to consider perhaps fighting the battle, and this is very important for you to appreciate, fighting the battle for justice and equity from within the party that is in power. In other words, if you can't fight them from outside, and you can see that the vehicle outside is not going anywhere and the engine is almost knocked, which I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying that this is a perception some may have, then why don't I go inside the other vehicle and try to effect change with people that think like me from within that particular party and within the system itself? And that is a legitimate point of view which you cannot dismiss or deny. Whatever you say, there are some people that believe that, and you can't say that they're wrong. Both sides have points.
Thank you very much, FFK. It's been a wonderful chat. I mean, I don't feel like stopping this, but you know, you gave us 30 minutes, but we've already hit an hour end. So
you don't mean it? Wow.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So Igbobi will be on. I'm na super career. Manoko kusiri makano ko gobiara. Oka no gba oso agbakanye aje ka jibe ebe atata biko omo abochukwu di Santos nwokere ke nwodo mma bụ onye na ebe a na-ekpukọtụrụ n'ihe emume anụ adịka o si dị biko no ka ọ dịba FFK biko kene ndị Igbo greet Igbos in the language that we understand. So I'm sure you know the language.
Igbo kwenu. Igbo kwenu. Igbo kwenu. Igbo kwenu.
You're welcome.
After listening to Fani Kayode, you can agree with me that the only solution remains referendum. Nobody is calling for war. Self-determination is not called for war. We have the right to ask for self-determination, and that is what we are asking for. Give us a referendum, let us decide our fate, and if you refuse, we will take it by force. By all means possible, Odudua and Biafra must be free. Nobody can stop it. May Chukwu Abiyama continue to protect Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. May Chukwu Abiyama continue to guide Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. May Chukwu Abiyama continue to give him more strength, give him more health, make him to be stronger more than ever. And very soon, we will be together. May Chukwu Abiyama protect Sunday Igboho. May Chukwu Abiyama guide Sunday Igboho wherever he is. Protect him and lead him through. Let him be consistent. Let more strength come to him and let more support come to him. All our brothers, the Odudua brothers, all our Biafran brothers, all our Middle Beltan brothers, everyone that is genuinely fighting for freedom in that very country called Nigeria, may Chukwu Abiyama grant us peace, grant us strength, grant us wisdom, lead us into that promised land that we will be into very soon. Very, very soon. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is coming out with our victory. Thank you and remember blessed. Bye-bye. See you again on the next video.
you.